Welcome to Live Edge, episode number next. I'm Matt.
I'm Amy.
Welcome to the show. On this episode, we have a real life tax professional who's going to answer our tax questions. Even though this is not tax advice, this or specific tax advice for you, it will be in generalities. This is Mr. Will Broadman. He is with 4 Cubed Woodworks. He has his own YouTube channel. You should subscribe to him. Link in the description below. Hey, Will, how's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Good. So if you have a question about taxes, business, etc., just put a Q in front of it and then type your question in. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But Will, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am from Savannah, Georgia. I'm still here, and I have always been an entrepreneur in spirit, kind of just a self-made business person, I guess. It's just part of my nature. And no matter where I was, whether I had a full-time job or anything, I always had something going on the side. So here I am, have my own CPA firm and also doing woodworking as a business.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite projects to make?
Oh my goodness. I have, last summer, I did a epoxy river table. It was probably my biggest, about as large as my garage could hold.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully that video is coming out soon. It's been a year now, so I should be getting it out, roughly.
It ain't easy.
And then I did one of your farmhouse tables. Sold that too. And so it's just, I'm definitely not the mass production kind of person. I definitely like to do different things and build different, not just furniture, build little knickknacks, build everything, really.
Yeah. So what got you into woodworking?
Well, I have always had a little bit of an interest in it. It was back in 2021. I was working full-time real estate company. I was the controller for the company, and it was a very stressful kind of job. But unknown to me and a shock to me, I had a heart attack at 50 years old. And so I'm home recovering, watching YouTube, and actually I came across one of your videos, and I thought, he's got a saw and a drill, and he started doing this. I certainly can do something, and I had a little bit more than that, but not much. And so I got up and went out in the garage and just started building something, and just got the bug.
That's awesome.
It's a good bug to get.
Yeah, it is. It's a good stress reliever, and it's fun. I like it. So
yeah,
you get to play with tools and make stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll on the 2 Before Nation live stream, right before we come over here to the public live stream, we were asked, is there a specific amount of money you have to you can make before you have to file taxes on it?
Well, that usually comes into play when you're talking kids, and so everybody gets a standard deduction from the IRS. So your standard is either based on whether you're single, married with children, things like that. So usually the standard deduction for a single person is around that $12,000 to $14,000 range. The IRS changes it every year. That is the limit. So if your kids, for example, are making summer money, part-time work, and they're making less than that $14,000, then they really don't have to file. It's not taxable. So it's no set limit by the IRS that they say you don't have to file, but that's the general rule.
I think he may be referring to the new rule that I guess come into play this year, where if you made $600 from whatever, Etsy or whatever, they're sending you a 1099 now.
The 1099s are a little bit different. So yeah, if you're drawing income from other businesses, if you're providing a service or something, and they send you a 1099, their limitation to send that to you is if they pay you $600 or more. Of course, if they do send it to you, it's also being sent to the IRS, so they're aware of it as well. And as long as your income that you report is higher than some of your 1099s, then you're good.
Yeah.
eBay does it now.
She sells the stuff on eBay and they send her.
I had to report it on taxes, and I had to pay eBay fees. Yeah. So I'm like,
double taxation.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway. What are some of the common? You work with small businesses of all sizes, I'm assuming, from kind of small to pretty good size small businesses, right?
Oh yeah, startups to fully running.
So what are some of the common, I guess, not necessarily just questions, but some of the common things you see with small businesses that they need help with?
In general, it comes down to what can I deduct. Everybody's looking for that deduction. So with business, it opens up the doors a little bit as far as to what you can deduct. You can deduct a little bit more through business that you may not personally be able to claim. So, that probably the number one question that I get asked every single year without fail in around December is, I've got a lot of income. Should I buy a truck? Yeah, without fail, that I'm going to get asked that. And, that's probably the most common question. Everybody wants a truck. So the end of the year, if you have income, it's not a bad idea to start looking for some of those deductions. But personally, I believe a truck's a bad tax advice to give because you're spending $1 to save 20 cents. Yeah. If you need a truck, get a truck and definitely take the deduction. But don't just go buy a truck just because it's bad tax. You do need that.
Have a good excuse,
But yeah, no, and then it comes down to all of the different questions and of what's deductible, what's not deductible. The IRS is pretty clear on most of it, but there are some areas that are questionable and leave a little bit of wiggle room. So it just comes down to how much risk you want to take.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle Koshel has a question.
Miss Michelle wants to know, can we assume that any overhead costs, such as Amy's Etsy fees, can be used as some type of write-off or deduction?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the way that you do this is, and I've got a couple of things we can go through real quick sometime here shortly, but your business, you need to track all of your income, all of your expenses. And this is whether you're a sole proprietorship or an LLC. And that way you can show your income and then you can list separately your deductions. So your Etsy fees and all would fall under your deductions, limiting your profit. So you're only taxed on the profit of your business. So any deductions that you can find for your business, you definitely want to record those. So keeping a good set of books, keeping up records, keeping the receipts, all of that. Yeah, very important to back up what you claim as deductions, but definitely your overhead costs and things like that.
There's your next.
Mr. Chuck Kibling says, does my tool and machinery have to be depreciated over several years?
It depends. If you're a business that's set up more than a professional, I'd say a very large scale, usually you have a strategy that you declare, whether it's a $500 limit or a $1,000 limit, that you anything that you spend that's machinery or equipment over, let's say that limit, $1,000, you would depreciate it over what the IRS allows as a depreciable life, which is going to be about 5 to 7 years. And as a small business, you probably have a little bit more flexibility. If I go buy a tool for my just small little woodworking business, $500 might be my limit that I just will write it off directly as an expense. In most cases, though, you're allowed a bonus depreciation. This is getting super complicated, but when you get into depreciation rules, there are ways to write the full thing off in most cases the first year. But you do have to monitor that over the life of that tool. So that 5 to 7 years is very important if you're going to deduct the whole thing. So it just depends really on the nature of your business.
Mike Anselmo, sorry if I didn't mispronounce that. What is the best business type to start a single owner for a small woodworking business? LLC, escorp, DBA, sole proprietorship, etc.
All right, so yeah, this is definitely something I knew would come up. To back up from that, let's back up just a little bit. So first of all, you have to determine, are you a hobby or are you a business? And the IRS does treat them differently. A hobby is not deductible. If you're running a business that you think is a business, but you're not in it to actually make a profit, you're just enjoying it, entertainment for yourself, it's not really a business. So you're not going to need to file anything unless you're showing profits. Obviously, if your hobby is showing profits, the IRS wants their share. But as a hobby, the IRS is not going to allow you to deduct your fees and other things. Now, as a business, yes, you're running a business. You're going to have financial records. You're going to have the motivation is going to be to make a profit. You're going to set up methods and all to show that you're achieving profits. And so from there, you've got choices, and there's really a couple of different options. You've got the sole proprietorship, which is a DBA type option. And then you have a registered business or an LLC. There's other types, but LLC is the more typical one. With an LLC, you're actually registered with the state. It's a legal standing for the business where you are separating your personal assets from your business assets. The sole proprietorship, you are essentially the business. Everything about you is the business. So your business assets and your personal assets can be all in one. Like you can have one checking account. You can run your personal expenses and your business, not recommended, but through the same checking account, and be fine as a sole proprietorship. But it's really more of a legal standing as far as how your personal assets are shared with your business. And that being said, an LLC is important to I always recommend it. They're very simple to set up, and there are steps that you can go through. And we help businesses do this too, from again the startup side, where you go to your state. You have to register with the state first. Then you get a federal ID number or an EIN, and from there you can open up a checking account with your EIN, and then you're set to go from a legal standpoint. Now, there's another road you go down to is how LLCs are taxed. That's different. We can get into that in a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you.
I think this question may be for both of you.
How can I start selling woodworking projects? Bid ready farmer. The way I did it, I just started posting them on Facebook. I mean, literally, it's all it takes. I still recommend doing that if you want to get some local sales. Just post on your regular Facebook feed and let people know that you're selling projects. That's one of the best ways to get started.
Will, how'd you get started selling them?
Facebook, really. I just started posting pictures.
Yeah.
Really went to friends and family first, and then from there, word of mouth. It was definitely word of mouth.
Whitcomb Woodworking says, in woodworking, of the 3 ways to write off, which is best? I don't know what that means.
I think he's talking about like the LLC, escorp, all that different stuff.
So LLC, having an LLC is I would recommend that definitely, because again, that separates your personal assets. So if your business, you end up, for whatever reason, everybody's sue happy. So if you end up getting sued in your business, you want to make sure that your home and other assets are not tied into your business. So that LLC creates that separation. That's why I say it's a little bit more of a legal standing. And that I would recommend that for sure. And like I said, they're fairly easy to get set up. So it's a low cost thing too. It's not, and that varies from state to state what they charge. But that definitely would be the recommended route. Now, again, LLC, you can be taxed in a few different ways. And that's a decision that needs to be made usually in your specific situation, whether you can be taxed as a single member LLC, which is almost like a sole proprietorship, but you still have the LLC coverage. A partnership is another way that you can be taxed as an LLC, where you have, we'll say, a non-family member partner, or a partner could even be another business. You can have a couple businesses own a partnership. That's another way to be taxed as an LLC. And then escorp is probably the most commonly known way of being taxed, and that's a very broad separation of personal and business, where you actually become an employee of your own company.
Cool.
And there are definitely benefits to different ways of being taxed.
Yeah. Now, Chris Mack says, say you own a home inspection business that does very little business, but you have a tool buying problem. Can I write off my tools I buy? Because I assume the RS to a tool is a tool.
So when I started in woodworking, that it was a hobby. I was starting up. I was having fun doing it. I still am, and so I wanted to sell what I was making so that I could buy more tools, and that's what I've done. Everything that I've made that I've tried to sell or sold, I just take that money, turn it around, and go buy another tool. That's still a hobby. I'm not in it to make a profit. And that's where that tool addiction sort of comes into play, where I did go create my own LLC, because if I'm selling to the public, I just want to cover myself and make sure that there's no risk to my home or anything personally. But definitely, it's a problem, and there are deductibles. So as long as I'm in it and I can show a profit, then I'm a business.
Justin Forrest says, I think we've answered this a little bit earlier. Says, do I have to be an LLC in order to get a tax write-off? You can do that as a sole proprietor as well. We talked about it earlier. If you want to go back and watch the replay when we're done, it was covered in quite detail. W.S. Barr says, is the home office deduction worth it, or does it just create future headaches when I sell my house?
Oh,
that's interesting. Yeah.
He was putting his baby back to bed. Sorry.
The home office is one, that's a fairly common question. So the IRS does have very specific rules about a home office, and yes, you can deduct it as part of your business, whether you're a sole proprietor or an LLC. The home office was also a very abused area with the IRS, so they like to raise red flags, so to speak, if you're filing. A lot of people avoid it just because they don't want to do that. But there's nothing wrong with doing it if you do it right. The home office, it ends up being a smaller deduction, but it's not there. I mean, in other words, if you're not taking the home office deduction, you're not taking any deduction. So it helps to reduce some of your tax. And the home office has to be specifically and exclusively for your business. You can't do any other business in that room. I've had people say, well, my whole house is an office. I work in my living room. I work in my bedroom. I even work in the bathroom. But no, it has to be, it has to be a room designated.
Our house is turning into it. We now have 3 areas that are 100% devoted to this woodworking business.
Well, to 2 businesses now.
Oh, yeah.
Faith Valley. 731 too.
But we work with our accountant like that on our home office. We don't deduct the other area that we now turned into part of it. We're not going to do anything with that because it's a lot of a headache. But for this particular room we're in right now, it's very specific what we do with our accountant.
Yeah. And there, he did ask too that there at the end of his question, there was a part about, am I creating a headache for myself when I sell my house, which is interesting because as running a home office and expensing part of your home, you're also reducing the book value of your house. So in other words, if you paid $100,000, which is a cheap house, but if you paid $100,000 for your house and you've deducted it or depreciated it for your business, $10,000. Well, now your cost of that house is $90,000. So if you sell it for above the limit, the tax limit, then you could actually be liable for taxes later on.
Didn't know that.
A lot of people avoid it just because.
Yeah. Kevin wants to know, can you mix 2 different income streams under one LLC, 1099 software contractor and part-time cabinet maker?
It can be done. It's not recommended, but it can be. I don't know that there's any specific rules that say you can't run 2. Now, obviously, again, you're dealing with liability issues as well, so you don't want to get one business tied into another, where if something goes wrong with one business, you don't want it to pull down the other one. So it probably is good to separate them, but I don't see any problem with running them together.
Welcome, Jim Sharp, to our One Before Supporter Club.
Welcome, Jim. Stephen Lepo says he's a disabled veteran. Thank you for your service. He says, building a new workshop with a sawmill on an acre of the property. Should I take my current DBA and change it to an LLC?
He's already profitable, too.
Already profitable.
Yeah, that it's still because of the DBA. It's not just the area that he's turning it into the sawmill that's the business. The house probably is on the property as well. So as the DBA, that's still all considered one entity, whether it's his business or his personal house. The LLC, I would say it's probably better to separate it, and that way you're just not risking the house. You're only risking the business side.
Fox and Kit, I don't think you're going to find a house for that price in California.
No.
I'm old.
Maybe
back when I bought a house, it was that low.
You can find them for that low in Arkansas, but it's not going to be much of a house even here.
Michael Roby, he says, I work a full-time job, which I report everything, of course. But if I also want to make things and sell things for my shop alongside my other job, do I report that if it's below the standard deduction?
So all of your income ties together, whether it's part-time income or interest or investment income and W-2 wages. It's all added together on your tax return. So if that total, all of it is below the standard deduction, which I doubt it is for him, but if it is, then no. Most likely it will be over that standard deduction. So if it's a profitable business, then you have to add it in as business income. Now, too, I didn't mention this earlier too, but your self-employment income comes into play as a DBA or a sole proprietor, where you're not only taxed at your federal and state rate, but you're also paying in your portion. And as a self-employed person, you're paying both portions of Social Security and Medicare tax. So that adds a lot more to your tax bill as a sole proprietor. This is where the escorp comes into play, and you become the employee of the escorp. And I'm fine to talk about that a little bit, but it's definitely a beneficial tax stance to take as an escorp versus a sole proprietorship. And then again, you're getting into that single member LLC status as well. So you can have the LLC, but if it's just you, you're still going to be paying that self-employment tax or the Social Security and Medicare. And that's like 12 or 15, a little over 15% in tax just for that.
This is why we tell everybody to talk to a tax professional, because you guys can save people like us money. And
just to reiterate this, we said it in the beginning, but if you have questions about your business or taxes or anything like that, that's his website right there, tnbsga.com. They help everybody from startups through
and you don't have
businesses.
to live in the same area as him.
Yeah, you don't have to live in Georgia.
To send them a message.
Just give them a shout. They can help you out. When and how should I start documenting transactions, receipts, invoices?
All right. So, back in the day, you had ledgers, the old ledger book with the columns and things. And a lot of people may not know what I'm talking about.
I know what they are. Used them at the law firm.
Exactly. That was how you used to do it. You had a ledger. You just wrote down every deposit as income, and every check or withdrawal was an expense, and you wrote it in this ledger. So obviously that's an option. You can use, a lot of people will use Excel and just keep it in Excel. But you're essentially you're writing down everything that you spend money on that's business related. And then it's nice if you go ahead and categorize it, whether it's like an office expense or a utility or rent or whatever it might be, categorize it. And obviously one of the biggest players in the game is QuickBooks. And so there's a lot of people in my profession that are experts. I've been using QuickBooks since it was a DOS program and came out in '92. That's how long I've been using it.
It's a good program.
And yes, and they've moved it mostly online. They will eventually get rid of the desktop version, but with the online version, it's actually pretty easy to keep up with. That's how we work with businesses across the country. We're looking at the same set of books they are. We don't have to be on their computer. They have access, we have access, and all. But that, and there are other players other than QuickBooks because they're different pricing variables there between the different companies. But definitely it's a good idea and highly recommended that you track your business incomes, because at the end of the year, you don't want to sit down with your checkbook and go back through it and figure out what was business and personal, and it's definitely much easier to keep up with it.
Very much so. Dan the guy says, is there any personal risk if you started out as a sole proprietor and then moved that as a company to an LLC? Can you still be sued since it was one time a non-protected entity?
I don't think so. I mean, anybody can sue you, and that may be more of a legal question. I would, if it were just me, I would think that the LLC provides protection for the actual business itself. So if you were once a sole proprietor and are now an LLC, then I would think so, but you may ask an attorney on that.
Kurt wants to know, do you and your company help set up LLCs in different states?
We do. Every state has its own way of doing it, but essentially it's all the same. You work with the Secretary of State's office, and really all you're doing is you're registering. First of all, you have to register the name. You have to make sure nobody else is operating with the name that you want, or even close to the name that you want. And so the first step usually is they clear you for whatever name you want, that nobody else is using it. And that is by state. That's not, so I could be operating technically I could be operating, unless you've copyrighted, I could operate as 731 Woodworks in Georgia. But a copyright would be different. So you register with the state, and then once the state gives you the go ahead, is they'll assign you the LLC status, and we work with different companies from different states all the time. I'm not familiar with all 50 states and their requirements, but essentially they're all the same. So we can help navigate it, or at least get it done for you. And attorneys used to do this, but they've simplified the process so much now. A lot of it's just done online, and it's a simple form in most cases. And there's a fee that goes along with it. They can vary, I'm sure, from state to state, but you're talking probably a couple $100.
Mr. Jim Williams has been a member of our One Before Supporter Club for 34 months and says, I've been here a little while.
Thank
you. Then 4321, not to be showed up, says, I've been here a little longer. He's been a member for 37 months. Thank you both.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we do have a Two Before Nation giveaway coming up right after we get done talking to Will.
Yes, so guys, don't
We're giving away a bunch of stuff too.
We are giving away.
Giveaways are good. I told you at work,
that's one of our favorite things to do.
Con, I've won your Win track saw early on.
We got another one of those giveaway too.
Mia, are you scratching in front of the camera?
Do you have anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to share with us, Will?
No, I think like escorps, we didn't really go into that too much, but again, that being probably the most common of LLCs as far as a tax status. You just want to make sure that you're working with somebody like a CPA or some professional that's helping you with the conversion to an S-corp. You have to follow so many regulations and rules to maintain an S-corp that it's not as simple as running just a sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship, you just open the door and go to work. That's it. An S-corp, there's a lot more involved with that. It does save you, if you're profitable, it does save you a good bit in tax. But again, if you don't follow the rules, you're going to lose that status and get yourself into some trouble. So definitely that's something to look into. And I think, as far as other questions I can think of, any kind of business deductions or things like that, we always hear about, obviously the home office or the vehicle that we talked about. Health insurance is another one. I'll mention that. Health insurance, if you're self-employed, health insurance, you can get a deduction for your health insurance right off your income. So in other words, normally your health care or anything like that would be considered part of your itemized deductions, and not always can you use them as an itemized deduction. Sometimes the standard deduction is higher, so you may lose your health insurance benefit as far as a deduction. As a self-employed person, health insurance is deductible, whether you're taking the standard deduction or itemized. So that's a big one as well.
And somebody asked earlier, what's some deductions that people don't think about that you can use?
Some forgotten ones.
Well, it's funny. It's everybody wants to know what are those hidden deductions they've forgotten about. But the only way you can really deduct anything is you've got to spend money. So that the only thing that you're going to spend money on would be something you can deduct. So you have to look at what you're spending money on. There's no secret hidden deductions that you might be missing out on. So what I usually tell people is, yes, you're tracking obviously your business expenses right off out of your business checking account, but go and look at your personal account. See if there's anything running through your personal account that could be potentially a business deduction. So, your cell phone, for example, if you're always out on the run and on the go, you might be paying for your cell phone out of your personal account. No, your portion of it is part of the business. Go ahead and deduct that. And so I just say, look back at your personal accounts and see if there's any other things you're spending money on that might be deductible.
Yep.
Michael Mason wanted to outdo everyone and said, jumping into the fun, he has been a member of our 1-6 supporter club for 39 months. He said, I'm a subscriber and look forward to your next video. Talking to you, Will. He said that he's a subscriber and looks forward to your next video.
Hopefully soon.
That's funny. All right. Well, do you know what time it is?
It's power tip time where Michael's at. He's in the East Coast. So, Michael, do you have a power tip for us? I sprung that on you.
Yep.
I will. Yeah. Hang on a second here. I was prepared.
Oh.
So what I would say is my power tip. It comes from Scripture. It's Mark 12:17, and it's when the Pharisees were trying to trap Jesus into saying something that they could use against him. And they asked him if it was legal to pay taxes to Caesar. And Jesus asked for a denarius. And they handed him a denarius. He said, whose image is on this coin? And they answered, it was Caesar's image. He said, render to Caesar what is Caesar, and to God what is God's. So I tell people, my happiest clients are the ones that they don't fret over the taxes. They just... they'll use every legal avenue, deduct everything that they can, just reduce what they owe, and then they pay their taxes and they move on. The unhappiest clients seem to be the ones that are trying to cut corners, running personal expenses through the business, trying to squeak through, and the consequences of that are not being caught is not worth it.
No.
That's definitely not worth it.
We give the IRS what the IRS is due. I promise you. My dad was audited when I was a teenager, and let me just tell you, if you've never experienced an audit, and this was 30 years ago, if you've never experienced an audit, they're rough. It's a lot of paperwork, and so my dad was good with it. He owned his own company. He was good with paperwork, and he had a hired accountant. And had it not been for her and me with her, it would have been, really rough. So keep up with everything, and give the tax man what the tax man is due. I promise you, you will sleep better at night.
There's peace that comes with that.
Yes.
So you don't have to look over your shoulder.
Yep.
I was so glad that my dad was so honest with his stuff, because it made everything so much easier. It probably felt like more to me because I was only like 15.
Yeah.
But I was his office manager at 15. So it was rough.
Kurt wants to know, Michael, do you have a standard rate to retain you for your accountant services, or does it vary customer to customer based on the size of business, et cetera?
It varies, and it varies really on how much is needed, how much work is needed. So we do a lot of different. We do consulting, which is usually like an hourly basis. Obviously, we have packages where if we're helping you set up a new business, we have a package deal. But again, with the states varying so many, it depends on what area you're located. And then as far as the different services, we do bookkeeping services for our clients, all the way up to the tax returns. So there's so many variables. Usually what we'll do And our website is set up this way. If you go there, there's a request more information link, and it's a form that if you just give us a little bit of basic information, we can put together what we think is what the price would be to help out. And it's generally just based on the need.
And they can find you at tnbsga.com.
That's the initials for True North Business Solutions in Georgia.
Also, you have a
It's
YouTube channel.
a lot shorter.
That one.
Yeah, so I've got 4 Cube Woodworks. I started that a couple of years ago. Just, again, I was dabbling and having fun, and I posted one video, which maybe got 50 views, maybe 100. I think I got excited when I broke 100. My second video posted, I'll show you, was making these things. It's an acoustic cell phone speaker. I made that video in December a year and a half ago, and that thing is sitting at 650,000 views. That was my second.
That's awesome.
Second video went viral.
Yeah.
And there I am. I had no idea what I was doing. I'm still trying to figure it out, but
aren't we all?
It's a shock and a blessing.
That's fantastic, man. Well, Michael, I can't thank you enough for joining us. Will. I'm sorry.
Were you reading Michael's message?
That's all, Michael.
I know
he was
Michael
reading
Mason.
Michael Mason. I knew what he was doing because he does that
all the time. Sorry, Will.
I was like,
that's all right.
Thank you, Stephen Kofed. He says,
Thanks,
God
Steve.
is good all the time. Amen.
Amen.
They liked your power tip.
That was a good power tip. Very good power
good.
tip. That's awesome. Well, man, we'll let you go. We're fixing to give away some tools. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining
enjoyed
us.
it. Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, you ready to give some stuff away?
We are. That was awesome.
Oh, okay.
That was awesome. So,
Come on, man.
we are going to give away a bunch of tools to our 2 Before Nation. And so we always get this, how do you become a part of the 2 Before Nation? There's a link in the description to sign up to be a 2 Before Nation. They support us directly. And in turn, every quarter, once a quarter, we give away the tools that I've reviewed on the channel. And most of these tools we've purchased for videos, and I'll use them in the shop a little bit and then review them. And then they sit there until the quarter's up and then we give them away.
Contrary to popular belief, we buy them.
Most of them. Now, there are some that are sent for review. Like I have a relationship with Ryobi, with Rigid, Tay Tools, etc. So there are some tools here and there that will be. But anyway, we're going to give some stuff away. Now, the way we do this is we use a service called Gleam, and then Gleam draws the winners. And we have, we have a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to show you. So we'll switch to this screen. Scooch over a little bit. Watch your feet. So first of all, we have this Milwaukee M18 fuel table saw with a 12 amp hour battery and a charger to give away. That's going to be our first prize. And then we got some good ones. We got like 4 or 5 different track saws to give away, etc. Now, the caveat is if you live outside the United States and you win one of these big tools, we're going to give you the gift card value of it because it costs way too much to ship.
Hold on. Let me clear something up for Mr. A2 Bendit or whoever you are. We pay for 98% of the tools that we get. Maybe 2% of them he does receive from somebody. But 98% roughly we pay for. That's how we say that. So don't play with me.
What is it? How are you going to say you pay for them and immediately say you don't?
That was the second time being a little ugly on there.
Well, no.
No.
Okay, I'll tell you which ones I paid for. Okay. This $600 table saw we bought, and then we're going to give it away.
That's right, Wayne Miller. Don't mess with a Southern girl.
So we're going to draw these one at a time.
All right.
I don't like to draw all 14 at once. I want to give the table saw away first.
Okay.
Do you want to do this, or do you want me to do it?
I think because she's right there, I'm going to let you do it.
Okay. So I can't show you the drawing, but we can show the winners after they're all drawn.
That's right, Michelle Cochelle. He can just leave.
M18 table saw is going to the winner, Ron Campbell.
Oh.
Ron Campbell.
Job.
Good job. He is in Twin Falls, Idaho. You won the Milwaukee Table Saw.
Congrats, Mr. Ron.
Now, the next item up is this. Let's see if I want to swap this over because I want to show people. I bought this one too. Okay.
All right.
This is the DeWalt Track Saw with a battery and a charger. This is the most powerful cordless track saw that I've ever used. And it is a very nice track saw. Very nice. And again, we paid for this one.
That's right.
So.
Let's see. Who's it going to be? What happened?
Get out of there. Get out of there.
Oh. You're putting their information up there.
All right. So here we go. Drawing the next winner for.
What's
have
this?
to do this every time.
Yeah, remember you had to do that last time.
This is for the DeWalt Track Saw.
Okay.
DeWalt Track Saw. Draw. This goes out to Ryan Severson from Illinois. You won a DeWalt Track Saw. And no, you don't have to be present to win.
Yes. We'll message you. But we will not send you a message asking you to pay shipping. If you get a message like that, it is not us. We pay for shipping for everything that we send.
You pay nothing.
Yes.
All right. So next up is the Skill Track Saw. I bought this one. The Skill Track Saw. We're going to draw this winner here and see who can win that.
Right.
That's a pretty nice for a budget track saw. Not bad. Breaking down sheet goods, etc. Skill Track Saw. Drawing now. We also pay for all the shipping, so just so you know.
Max Myers.
Max Myers, you are in Michigan. You won the Skill Track Saw. Again, you'll all get an email from me about the shipping details. Next on the list, I'm trying not to show people's info. Next on the list is the Grizzly Track Saw. Guess who bought this one?
You did.
We did. This one. All right, so Grizzly Track Saw, we're going to draw, and this is going out to draw.
Let's see. Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller won the Grizzly Track Saw in New York.
Look, the Bronx.
The Bronx, New York.
That's awesome.
So the Grizzly Track Saw, all of these track saws also come with tracks except for one because I don't have tracks for it. It's already, when I reviewed it, I already had tracks for the other one.
I love how supportive y'all are for each other in there.
All right, now the next one is the Triton Track Saw. Now I have this review video is coming out Thursday on the Triton Track Saw, and I'll go ahead and tell you a couple of things about this. The Triton Track Saw, I have worked out a deal with the people who are selling this for 30% off the day of the video comes out, and this is the best budget track saw I've used, hands down. And we bought this one, so there you go. I feel like I need to emphasize what we did and didn't buy.
He still don't understand, y'all.
All right, but this one doesn't have tracks. So if you buy this, Wind tracks, PowerTech tracks, Milwaukee tracks, Festool tracks, most all the common tracks will fit it. So if you do win, or whoever wins this, you'll need to pick up a track.
Grant Butler said Triton tools are nice.
They are very nice.
Nice. You don't have you have to put one.
I just drew.
Oh, Michael Coxwell.
Yep, Michael Coxwell. Florida, you won.
Florida. Congratulations, Michael.
She needs to stop texting. All right.
Yeah.
Next on the list, this is the
texting.
Win Cordless Track Saw. This does include tracks, and we also bought this track saw. So this is going to be going out to...
All right, ready?
Win Track Saw.
Yep.
Ready?
Go.
Draw. This is...
Amanda Posey.
Amanda Posey won the Cordless
from Indiana.
Win
Congratulations, Amanda. Girl power. Yay. I haven't even looked to see if anyone's in here.
All right, next on the list. This is the Milwaukee M18 Fuel 2.25 horsepower router. This is the big router. It comes with a battery, a charger, the bag. The bag zipper's broke. Not my fault. It was broke when I got it. And we bought this one too. So,
Woodcraft Wizard wants to know how to enter.
So the entry is over for this giveaway, but we do this quarterly for our 2x4 Nation members. So there's a link in the description below that describes how to sign up for that. If you sign up on Patreon or channel memberships here on YouTube, that's how you basically get here. And then when the giveaway happens every quarter, I put out a post and let everybody know how to enter and etc. But on the Patreon, there's a free tier that you can join, but you have to be in the paid tier because the channel members and Patreon supporters, we call them our 2x4 Nation, support us directly with their money. And so this is a way for us to give back from the tools we buy mostly, and then some we give back to them.
The Middleborn, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Says, I found y'all a couple of weeks ago and I really appreciate how you live your faith on the platform.
Thank you.
I just had to read that. All right.
2.25 horsepower from Milwaukee. This is a fantastic router. If I had room for it, I'd like to keep it. It is awesome. Who's winning this one? Dan Dixon.
Dixon.
Dan Dixon.
From Kansas.
Kansas. Hey.
Is Mr. Dan on here tonight?
I think I saw him earlier. Yep.
He's usually on here.
Yep. So Dan, you won the Milwaukee Router. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, so this is a smaller price, but still equally fantastic. I have one of these, and I purchased another Wera product, and one of these come as an extra add-on for what I was buying, and I don't need it because I have one. But this is a nice little screwdriver. It has all the bits store inside of it, and then it closes up. Yep, and then it closes up into a regular screwdriver, and it's a ratcheting screwdriver. This thing is fantastic. I love this little thing. So this is a nice little gift.
All right.
Draw.
Do you hear that too?
Yeah, me and Mosen are saying something.
Oh, okay.
For the Wera screwdriver, this is a craft form screwdriver.
Christian Conja from Indiana. Conja. Congratulations,
Congrats,
Christian.
man. All right, so the winner of this next one has to have Ryobi batteries.
Yes, Stuart. All levels do qualify.
So this was sent to me by Ryobi. I reviewed it. I've got it in a video.
Super chat.
Thank you, Michael Mason
Mike.
from Light of Mice Woodshop is helping with shipping.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
So this is the Ryobi vacuum. Basically, it goes on top of a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket or any 5-gallon bucket. It'll fit. But you have to have the Ryobi batteries. You can pick one of those up pretty cheap, like $40-50 for a battery and a charger. This thing's really nice. It works really well. And we're going to draw for this one.
A2, you're forgiven.
All right. All right.
We don't work in a different manner. We work
Let's
in one way.
This is considered a mystery prize.
A mystery?
Yeah, because I couldn't list them all. I had to do so.
Well, then you need
Still
to
only
write
draw
down.
one. Yeah.
But you know what it's for.
Yeah, you're going to have to write it down.
So that we don't send somebody the wrong thing.
James Crandall with a C from North Carolina. You won the Ryobi bucket vac.
Congratulations, James.
All right. So I've got 3 sets of these to give away. 3. These are some of the best small parts organizers. There's links in the description to every one of these tools that I'm talking about too. So if you don't win, you see them like, man, I'd like to have those. Check the link in the description of this video and you can go grab them for yourself. These are small parts organizers from Tay Tools. These are some high quality tools. I stacked some of these up and stood on top of them. They don't budge. Like they're very, very well made small parts. There's a small, a medium, and a large. The medium and large actually lock together, similar to like a flex stack pack, the way they tab together. So these are good options for storage is what I'm getting at. There's 3 sets of these, a small set of 4, a medium set of 4, and a large set of 4. Just so you know. So we're going to draw for all 3 of those at this point.
At the same time?
Yeah.
But how you
No, not at the same time.
Oh.
Just wanted to.
All right, small parts.
So we'll do the small first, the small parts organizer. That goes out to
Wayne Miller. Congratulations. He's on here tonight.
Hey, Wayne.
Congratulations,
you won the small?
Mr.
Write that
Wayne.
down.
He's right there. He just said congrats to somebody else.
Can you write that down? To the small parts organizer?
Is that not that?
Yeah, the small pack from Mr. Wayne. Ready? All right. So the medium set goes out to Michael Irvin Roberts.
Congratulations,
Boise, USA.
Michael. Hold on.
From Chicago. I don't know where I got Boise at.
What?
I don't know. All right, for the large small parts organizer, this goes out to
Tim
Lawrence.
Lawrence. Congratulations, Tim. He's on here with us a lot.
All right. What else was next? So those are for the small parts organizers. Those are really nice. Y'all are going to love those. I also have this Vivo Router. I reviewed it on a while back. Found the cheapest router on Amazon. On Amazon, it's like $50-something, I think, right now. And this is a Vivo Router. It comes with a plunge base for the price. These things are really, really nice. Like, very nice routers. If you don't have a trim router, just check it out.
All right.
Vivo Router coming up. Dan Brazel
Daniel
from Kansas.
Brazel.
Seems like a lot of Kansas is one. There's 2. Kansas taking it home.
Is it Brazel or Brazil?
Brazil. I'm sorry.
Congratulations, Daniel. Is he
like,
on here tonight?
I think we got one more. One more we're going to draw for. Now, if you haven't seen these, I've got these coming out in a video in a week or so. But I'm going to go ahead and give them away because I've already done the video on it. Where we go? Wrong one. This is called a miter set for the table saw. So if your miter gauge, your miter gauge let me explain this real quick. You ever took your miter gauge and set it on 45 and then tried to make like a picture frame or something square and the angles come out all wonky, even though the miter gauge is set on 45, and then you try to set it with like a speed square to the blade, and it just does. These fix that instantly. So basically what it is, you put your miter gauge slot or the slide of the miter gauge for your table saw right in that slot, and there's 2 pins that you can drop in these holes from 0 up to like 60 on this one. And then the one on the left, you get any degree you want, basically, like anything. Now, these things make your miter gauge dead accurate. And so I bought these. No, I think they sent me a set of these, if I remember right. But anyway, we're giving away. So if you want to check those out, you can. There they are. I put a link in the description. Oh. I keep doing it. There we go. All right, ready?
Jeez. Come on.
Hey, where's the drawing at? Oh, there it is.
It's right there.
All right, last prize. This is like $180 value. 190 something ish.
Don't worry about you. All right.
Justin
up. Congratulations, Justin from Indiana. Sorry, New York didn't get it.
Sorry, New York.
They were like, come on, New York.
And one last thing I want to tell you about. We've had quite a bit of great feedback and some success already from some of our members. We started a coaching community called Sawdust Startups. Now, you go to sawduststartups.com and check us out. But it's an exclusive online community to help you grow and build your woodworking business from the ground up. Or if you've already started, there's classes in there. There's like 16 hours of coursework that we've put into this on how to build your business, how to market your business. Like, for instance, picking a niche, building your portfolio, selling in person, selling online, Facebook 101, Etsy 101. Like every one of these things you see here is actually a course you click and watch. Like the Etsy 101 part 1 is 25 minutes worth of content that we made specifically for this platform. And then what's extremely valuable here is this community. We've got some amazing people in there sharing their wins, what's working for them, what's not working for them. And then we also do a group coaching call bi-weekly until the second week of April. Then we're going weekly. But we've had a lot of good success in there so far from our members. Sawduststartups.com. Go check it out. Did
Grant Butler start in there?
I think so.
He just said I finally got in today.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. So we're excited to be able to help people grow their business. And there's an early bird special if you get in before April 1st. So March 31st, you get 20% off up to March 31st, and then the price is going up.
Hey, Maybell.
Yeah, go check it out. Hey, Maybell.
Oh, my goodness. I just picture her being cute. I don't know. Foxing kid.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And if Lil Becca's still on here, she's so cute too. She's so pretty. I want to meet Lil Becca one day.
Damon's little grandbaby.
And Damon's grandbaby. Oh, Damon wasn't on here tonight.
No, he had family time tonight.
All right.
And somebody asked about STL. Where was STL? He's at an awards banquet. He's up for an award tonight for what did he tell me that was for? It was for his paramedics job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, where's it at? I want to shout that out. Yep. He said he's state awards this evening he's a finalist for Educator of the Year for the state. That is fantastic.
He'll be in a Class A uniform tonight.
We want to picture STL for next week.
That's awesome. Yep. Well, y'all give us some feedback on how you think doing this at a different time was. Y'all can.
Yep. It's an hour earlier.
Yeah. Give us some feedback. Really, we'll give you a couple of minutes just to either say, I like it better or I like the old time better.
Yep.
And we'll see. We'll see what y'all say.
Awesome. Well, Preds are playing at 7. We don't want to miss it.
Yeah, so we got a few minutes.
Is that why you changed the time?
I did not. You did because we're old.
We are old.
We act old anyway.
We is old. We eat supper at 3:30 p.m. If it's 4, we're hungry.
He's not lying.
All right. Y'all have a good night. Oh, what happened?
Bob Pickett, welcome to our One Before Supporter Club. They say I like it better. Great time doing it now. Love this time. Like this time slot better. Like the early time. Time is great.
Good.
Y'all like it. So do we. All right. See y'all next week.
6 p.m. Central Time next week.
There you go.
See y'all.